Hello, everyone. Matthew Schwab here with Matthew Schwab Speaks, here with a new episode of Matthew Schwab Listens, where I interview people in my life who are doing great things in the community and ask unique questions. So, thank you, Brian, for being on the show.
Oh, my friend, it's a pleasure. When you reach out and asked, I said, yes, finally. I get a chance to sit down and do this with you. It's been great to get to know you over the last few years. I absolutely love what you're doing with Matthew Schwab Speaks. I got to see you speak at a really cool event, I don't know, not about a month ago in downtown Cary, which was really amazing. And I'm excited that you're in the podcast space now too. Welcome. As a
Thank,
podcast host myself, it's good to have you. So welcome to the podcast space.
thank, thank you. So I know we met through Gigi's Playhouse and you made a video for Gigi's, and that's how we met. But I don't know really what you do. So please, would you please tell us what you do for a living?
Sure. No, I'd be happy to do that. I do a few different things. I'm the kind of guy that, has my hands in a few different avenues. Today, as we record, I'm sitting in North Raleigh. I'm at Parents for Educational Freedom in North Carolina, where I'm the executive vice president. We're a statewide advocacy organization that advocates for greater access to parental school choice. And really, what that means is we believe that parents and families should be empowered to find the learning environment that's the right fit for their children. I joined this organization in 2016 as a vice president of communications and have continued to serve here through this capacity. My focus here for this organization is to ensure that we're communicating across platforms effectively, that we're advocating on behalf of parents. And then I get to do quite a bit of work at the General Assembly as we work to enact laws that help families in our state get access to greater educational choice. And so we've got some mutual friends in that space. I know you've spent some time down, not only visiting Congress in Washington, D.C., but also visiting with our legislators in Raleigh, who do quite a bit of work to help create some programs in our state. One of the things I'm most proud that we do here is we provide a parent liaison team that helps moms and parents and dads across our state know what educational options are available for them. And then in 2018, we're a really big part of creating a push to create a program for students with special needs across our state to get access to some additional educational dollars for their families to be able to use for their education. So I spend a lot of time working with this organization to help families across our state. And then I also own and operate a small but growing media production company. We create purpose-driven media through audio and through video storytelling. We have a lot of great clients that we help create impactful video stories. And then we also do some podcasting through that. That's called Pick Up the Six Productions. And that's where I host my podcast, Pick Up the Six Podcast. So between those, I'm a dad, a husband. I'm busy between all those different things. Got two great kids, great wife. Kids are second grade and sixth grade. So those are the things that keep me busy.
That's very interesting. And your office is near Gigi's.
Yep. So I've got two places where I traditionally work out of. Today I'm in North Raleigh, right, at Parents for Educational Freedom. But when I'm doing Pick Up the Six podcasting, I've got a little office space that's right down the street from the brand new Gigi's location. So before our friends at Gigi's Playhouse, which they're an amazing group of people, I feel very blessed that God introduced me to that group. Before they were in a different location, now they've got this brand new state-of-the-art facility in downtown Cary. And so when I'm doing Pick Up the Six podcasting or production work, I'm right around the corner from them. So I can be over there in 5 minutes if I need to. If I was running fast, maybe 3 or 4 minutes if I was really running fast. So I've got a little office right there in downtown Cary as well. That new space, you've been in there a few times. I'm sure you're over there quite a bit.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing. Forever home for our friends at Gigi's and the great work that they're doing. It's really incredible.
That's awesome. That's cool. So we talked about your podcast, Pick Up the Six. Please tell us about it and why did you start it and why did you choose the name?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I graduated from college, I was in TV news. I was a sports broadcaster. I worked for a pair of TV stations for almost about 8 years. My first job was in Wichita Falls, Texas. My second job was in Decatur, Illinois, in the Champaign market. And I was a sports guy. I was the local sports guy. When they were like, at the end of the newscast, we're going to Brian on sports. Like that was me. And I got to cover a lot of sports and do a lot of reporting and broadcasting, not just across the states I lived in, but across the country. And, I advanced on in my career and I got into a lot of content creation and media production. And I got down the road and I thought, you know what, I'd really love to tap back into this storytelling through kind of interviewing style. And I had started up a very small podcast where I was interviewing a bunch of my F3 buddies. And F3 is a men's leadership organization dedicated to fitness, fellowship, and faith. And one of the sayings that we have in that group is, hey, let's go pick up the six, which in that definition means let's go get the guy who needs to be helped brought up to the front. Let's go help that guy get back to the front of the group. My dad was in the military for his entire career. And quite frankly, having someone six means you're watching their back. So this idea, right? This ideology of helping other people, getting somebody's back, service before self had always been kind of a part of me. And I thought I'd really love to take this podcast where I'm interviewing these guys in these very short segments, and I was calling it Pick Up the Six Podcast. I'd really like to expand it out and tell larger stories to a larger audience. And I thought about that and what that would look like. And so we started this podcast, Pick Up the Six Podcast, in February of 2021, with the goal of introducing people to the men and women among us who have gone above and beyond through service before self, strength of purpose, and community impact. And so we started in February 2021. The first guest that we interviewed was Commander Kirk Lippold, who had command of the USS Cole the day it was attacked by Al Qaeda in 2000. Our second guest was an incredible American named Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Spanky Peterson, who there's a famous movie called Lone Survivor. Mark Wahlberg's in it. He plays Marcus Luttrell, who's a Navy SEAL, who is one of 4 SEALs who get ambushed in an attack, and he's the lone survivor of the group. And we move heaven and earth to go rescue him. And I was watching the movie, Matthew, one night late. My family was all asleep. And there gets to the point in the movie where Marcus has been behind enemy lines, but he's been kept captive. Actually, they're taking care of him by this incredible group of local Afghans. And we come to rescue him. And the helicopter pilot sort of looks over his shoulder and looks at him after this daring rescue, and they fly away. And I thought, that is ultimate picking up the six right there. So we've been interviewing folks like that for the last 2.5 years now, my friend, which is pretty incredible. Very fortunate to be able to do it. And we've been sharing stories about service, purpose, and impact along the way. We've got to interview a lot of really neat folks. I've been very blessed and fortunate to get to know a lot of people through it. In fact, when you and I get done, I've got a podcast to record this afternoon. And so all that's at pickupthesix.com. We're on Spotify and Apple and all those places. And we put out a show a week, and we talk to really, really neat folks. Our most recent guest was the president of the movie studio, Angel Studios. They've got a movie out right now called Sound of Freedom, which is kind of a big deal around the country these days. And so those are the kind of conversations we're having.
That's amazing. So what do you like to do for fun with your kids or without?
Yeah, so my kids are second grade, rising second grader, rising sixth grader. So they're 7 and 11. They'll be 8 and 12. Get this, Matthew. We have 2 girls. They have the same exact birthday, separated by 4 years and 1 hour. So their birthday's the same day. They'll be 8 and 12 this fall. And they're active kids. My youngest plays soccer and is into martial arts. Shout out to her. She just leveled up and got her blue belt last week. She's advancing along there. They both are on swim team. Our oldest is into ballet and piano. And so we stay very busy, going to their activities and watching them do all those things, which is great. We love to spend time as a family, either in the mountains in Boone and Blowing Rock, or we love to go to Ocean Isle Beach and spend time over there. So that's what our family likes to do. We just like to spend a lot of time together. Obviously, with the work that I do at PEFNC, right, with the work that I do through production and through the podcast, You know, a lot of time is dedicated to that, but I love to do it. And then I spend a lot of time working to help invigorate male community leadership through this organization called F3. And we've got guys all over the country and, quite frankly, parts of the world that do it. But right where we're at, you and I, in the Cary area, Cary and Apex, which we combine together to call Carpex. We've got men that are working out every single morning, getting better, helping each other accelerate in their lives, be better leaders in their family, their communities. And so I'm very passionate about that as well. In fact, I think if you and your brother are still roommates, right? We
Yes,
need to get you guys out to a workout at some point. That would
maybe.
be great. Yeah.
Yes,
We can make something like that happen.
that's that's good. S- So, mm, sometimes I lose track of time when I'm watching TV or reading fandom on the internet. What consumes your day?
Well, it's a lot of work. I mean, whether we're creating content, whether we're telling stories, whether we're doing advocacy work across the state, but I'm up and at 'em. I'm a 4:30, 5 o'clock wake up pretty much every day, get up, get a glass of water in, get out the door, go hit an F3 workout, get a little bit better physically, which sets my day up, right, for the ultimate amount of success. Share that time and that fellowship with those men in the morning to kind of kickstart. And then, you get home and it's getting kids ready, whether it's summertime and they've got camps or whether we're getting them off to school. And then we're working to create great stories and connect people to something better than themselves, either here at the nonprofit or through the production company. And then just trying to spend as much time with family as best we can. Wake up every day with gratitude in the heart, right? Before you even open my eyes or put my feet on the ground to try to thank the good Lord for giving me one more day. And we kind of tackle it that way.
That's awesome. That's really cool what you said. Have you met or seen anyone famous in real life?
Yeah, quite a bit. When I was working in local television, we got to interview big time athletes or even some movie stars. I got to meet Will Ferrell. I got to meet Tony Stewart, who's a NASCAR driver. There's a couple of folks that we've got to meet along the way that have been incredibly kind and gracious and just great to meet. Got to interview a lot of athletes, so they might not always be household names, but a lot of athletes along the journey working in local television, which has been pretty neat. If you've ever heard of Cheech and Chong, you probably haven't. They're
No.
older comedy guys. They're kind of crude, but I got to interview Tommy Chong, who's an absolute delight on the podcast recently, and got to do some things like that, which has been pretty cool. What about you? Who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Um, mm, I don't know. I think so in conference I met movie stars.
Nice.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
And obviously Matthew Schwab. I know Matthew Schwab,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yes. Obviously, I'm passionate about advocating with Down syndrome. What cause do you care about?
Well, I'll tell you what. I really care about what our friends at Gigi's are doing. I mean, it is an incredible service, incredible approach, and what I love most about the way that they're serving individuals and families that have an individual with Down syndrome is just the community that they've built. Their ability to bring folks in and get them together and them into community, I think, is what some of the secret sauce is. And I can only speak to the way that they're doing it here in what used to be known as Gigi's Playhouse Raleigh, but now is in the Cary location. It's just an incredible community. So I care deeply about that because I think everybody deserves to have a voice and deserves to have a chance. Right. The fact that, 80 something percent of young adults with Down syndrome lack employment is something that's got to be changed in our country. Right. Because you guys are ready to work. Right. You love your job at Ruckus Pizza and Pasta. I've heard you tell me all about it. Right. And you light up about it. And so those opportunities need to be extended. So advocating for things like that and really just advocating for, we've been doing a lot on the podcast about veterans issue and PTSD awareness and suicide prevention. Those are things I care quite a bit about. And then getting men tapped into who they're supposed to be for themselves, for their creator, for their families, for their communities through what we do through F3 has been a real passion as of late too.
That's good. We only have about a few more minutes left, so mm, I I've got 3 more questions. So I ask all my interviewees this question: which 3 words describe you?
You know what? Boy, that's a great question. Jeez. 3 words that describe me. Um, I hope service. I hope commitment. And I hope humility. And I say I hope because those are things I think you strive for. I think I'm striving to be humble in service and commitment to others. And that's why we've started Pick Up the Six Productions, to create real purpose-driven content, to share purpose-driven stories. So that's what I'd go. That's a tough one. That's a very good question. 3 words to use to do. What do other people say? What else have you heard?
I haven't heard much, but another word that I can say that you are is smart
Mm, well, thank you.
and loyal.
That's another good one. That's a great compliment. Thank you, my friend.
You're very welcome. The Is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience?
Well, I can't wait to see what this journey is going to be like for you. I'm a fan for life. And so this is just exciting. We live in a great time where we can connect people to something bigger than themselves through these platforms that we have. But we can't do it by ourselves. We've got to do it together.
Yeah.
Right. We've got to be able to work together and help each other share our stories. And that was so exciting about that speakers collaborative that you were a part of a couple weeks ago. What a great model of bringing people with totally different backgrounds, totally different stories together for a night to connect folks in our local community. I thought that was really pretty cool. So excited for you for this journey. Looking forward to seeing you get out there speaking more, and people need to get you in front of their groups. That's for sure.
Definitely. So, two more questions. So, how did you get on board with the inaugural Carrie Speakers Collaborative?
Yeah. So where my office is, Kara Hand has the office space below me. So she rents me out that office. Her husband, Cody, is a friend of mine who I also know through F3. And his F3 name, we all have goofy nicknames in F3. So
Okay.
his F3 name is Wonk. Mine is super glamorous. It's Hello Kitty. I can't tell you why I got that. It's a story for another day. But so I've known Cody for some years, and I saw him post about it, and I said that looks like a really neat event, and I want to make sure I get to go there and be a part of it to support him. And then I saw you were on the list, and I was like, I'm for sure going now. That my friend Matthew's going to be there, and I knew that the GG's folks would have a strong contingent, and you guys maybe had half the audience, which was incredible. Tons of folks there.
Yes.
And we got to see Representative Bradford, who was there, who I know we're both friends with. Great guy. So that was just an awesome night.
Definitely.
Got
So,
some good food. I got to meet your brother for the first time, so that was cool. It was
yes,
great.
that was fun.
And
They
you have two brothers, is that right?
Too younger, yes.
Two younger brothers. One who's in the Marines. Am I
Yes.
correct about that?
Just the youngest.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome.
Yes. So thanks for joining and answering my crazy questions.
They're good. They're awesome. You're doing great, man. You're a natural at this.
Thanks. I really enjoyed getting to know you better. And I hope my audience did as well.